Welcome to the Daily Holy Story. In the time of Rav Michal Zhlosthov, there was a Jew who owed a lot of money to a goy landowner, and he didn't have any money to pay. So the landowner took the Jew and his wife and his children and put them in prison for life. Well, one day, the wife gave birth to a baby boy, and the Jewish people in town went to the landowner and begged him to allow the family to go out of the prison to do the milah for the new baby. Well, the landowner permitted them, provided that he gave them bodyguards, and the head of the prison also went to guard them to make sure they don't escape. Well, they got 10 Jews together and they did the milah, and they sat down to have a meal. And they had, of course, schnapps and whiskey and arak. And everybody was drinking, especially the guards and the head of the prison. Well, they all got drunk. And the head of the prison turned to the Jews and said to them, I have 3 big, strong horses over here. And if you like, you could pay me a lot of money, and I will take the Jewish family and let them escape with me. I will take them out of town and get them away from the landowner and away from prison. And this way they will be free. The Jews liked the idea, and they paid him a lot of money. And he took the 3 horses, and they ran out of town. When they got far away, they realized that they left the baby boy that had the milah behind. They forgot him. They asked him to go back. But he didn't want to go back. He was afraid that if he went back, and they would find the head of the landowner would find out that he escaped them out of town, he would kill him. So he refused to go back, and they got out of town, far away, and he went back. And then when everybody became sober, they realized that the Jews ran away. They went back to the landowner together with the head of the prison, and they told them the Jews escaped. So the non-Jewish landowner hired some horses and went out to find them, but he couldn't find them. And the prison guards told him they left the baby behind. Well, the landowner thought he would take him as a slave for life. But then the head of the prison that worked for him said to him, I don't have any children. Give him to me and let him live by me. And so it was. The Jew was adopted by the head of the prison, and he raised him. And when he got a little older, he turned him into a shepherd. He taught him how to be a shepherd with the sheep and the goats. One day, when he was 8 years old and being a shepherd, all the non-Jewish shepherds had a fight. And he was in the middle of everything. And they turned to him and they told him, you're not from us. You're a Jew. You were adopted. You belong to a Jewish family. Well, he didn't believe them. They told him, well, if you don't believe us, check. You have a milah and we don't. And sure enough, he checked, and he realized it was true, that he was a Jew. So he decided he wants to find out what it is to be a Jew and who Jews are. And he would like to be like his father and mother who were Jewish. So one day, his stepfather, who was the non-Jew, who was the head of the prison, went on vacation with his wife and left him behind to be a shepherd for the sheep. Well, he took the opportunity and decided to escape. And he went away to a Jewish town. And in that town, he told the Jews what happened to him, that when he was a baby, he was left behind and adopted by non-Jews. Well, the Jews took off his clothes that were shatnez, and they put on a talet and tzitzit on him, and they started to teach him Aleph Bet. Little by little, he learned Aleph Bet, and he became bar mitzvahed, and he wore tefillin, and he started learning Torah. And then he started learning Gemara, and he started becoming a teacher. He taught a Jew's children in a hotel, and he taught them. He became a good teacher, and he started learning a lot of Torah. Well, then, after that, the Jew that hired him sent him out to another town, and he got advanced and advanced. And then he told him one day, my Rebbe is the Rebbe from Zhlosthov. I'm going to see him. Would you like to go get a beracha from him? He said, of course I would. So he took him to Rav Micha Mizlotchov together with him. And then the teacher told the Rebbe the whole story that happened to him, and he doesn't know where his parents are. Well, the Rebbe sat down and he wrote something on a parchment, and he closed it up and he sewed it, and he told the teacher, the Jew who lost his parents, put this inside your shirt, sew it to your shirt, and don't open it until the day you're going to get married. And before you get married to your wife, get a rabbi to come under the chuppah and open the pouch and show it to the rabbi. Sure enough, he went into another town, and this pouch was sewed to his shirt. And the day came when he should get married, because there was a very wealthy man in the town that he was in that met him where he was teaching, and he liked him, and he had an only daughter, and he wanted his daughter to marry this boy. So sure enough, they agreed that his teacher, the teacher, and his boss agreed that he should marry the rich man's daughter. So the day of the wedding came, and they went to the town to get married. And he was under the chuppah, about to get married at 19 years old. And all of a sudden he remembered that the Rebbe told him, before you get married, open the pouch and show it to a rabbi. Sure enough, he turned, before they were about to get married, he turned to his future father-in-law and he told him, wait, we can't get married yet. I need a rabbi to open this parchment and show it to him. So they delayed the wedding to the next day. They got a rabbi from the next town, and they started the wedding again. And before they were about to get married, he turned to the Rebbe and he told him, here is the pouch from the Rebbe Mizlotchov, and he told me that you should open it and read it and tell me what to do. Sure enough, the Rebbe opened it and he read 6 words. How can a brother marry a sister? The Rebbe looked at it and he didn't understand what it was. He turned to the Chatan and he told him, what is this? He started being happy. He said, wow, it must be my Kala is really my sister, and my future father-in-law is really my father. And he started rejoicing. And then the Rebbe turned to the future father-in-law and he asked him, where were you when you escaped from prison? He says, I ran away with my family. Did you leave anybody behind? He said, yes, I left a baby behind. Well, how many years ago was that? 19 years ago. And he turned to the Chatan and he told him, how old are you? He said, I am 19. And sure enough, the father and the son realized that they were for each other. The boy realized this was his father. They embraced, and then they had more happiness than of the wedding. And they thanked Hashem that the Rebbe was, in his Ruach HaKodesh, was able to see that in the future he would find his father and his family through a wedding that should have never happened. Thank you for listening, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.